Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is Matt Tour. I'm a marketing specialist here at Insurance Agency Marketing on the annuity side. We're going to be joined shortly by Mackenzie Swenson. She's an internal account manager at EquiTrust. EquiTrust is just throwing their hat into the stretch IRA side of the business and doing inherited IRAs. So we're glad that they could join that side of the business, and looking forward to getting you some information out today on kind of their specialty, some of the rules you should be aware of on inherited contracts. Make sure that you are fully aware of what's available in the market space based on that need and kind of how EquiTrust can fulfill those needs. So really nice combination of programs they offer on that side of the business. I know that EquiTrust has been a real big player for us the last 15, 20 years. We've had a great experience with them and really been very pleased with their service and the things they do for clients based on those annuity contracts. So here at IAMS, we do offer our new producer perks. We've got different levels of qualifications you can go for based on your first 6 months of being contracted, anywhere from $100,000 of production up to. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry, a little malfunction on the speaker there, but this is Matt Tour with Insurance Agency Marketing. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be soon joined by Mackenzie Swenson, internal account manager there at EquiTrust. I appreciate you joining us this afternoon. EquiTrust is now involved in the IRA side of the business on inherited and stretch business, and we'll be going over some details based on what they can help out with based on that side of the market. I know they've got a great selection of products available in most states. We've had a really good experience with EquiTrust over the years, and they've done a great job with us on service, and some of the programs they've offered throughout the years have been fantastic to clients, and we've seen a great line of production through them over the last decade or longer. As I look at the screen here, we got the new producer builders. We have levels between $100,000 up to $1 million on production the first 180 days of being contracted. Great way to get started with IAMS. You can earn some great incentives, anywhere from iPads, cash, up to radio shows, doing TV advertising, Facebook marketing, a lot of different things you can take advantage of based on your production through our group. And I know we've got a lot of agents have taken advantages over the years and really helped out on their production levels based on those. We have a couple different business builders we offer. We have a referral program. You refer agents to IAMS. We will pay you once they get contracted. You also earn an override based on their production, 20 basis points based on their index premium, and then multi-year guarantees, 10 basis points, but a really good way to build up a side account to help you out with maybe advertising needs, different things you need down the road based on the cost of doing business. We also have a market reimbursement, reimburse $100 for every $100,000 of index annuity premium. We also have it available based on single premium life and life target. And those dollars are put in a side account for marketing. And then when you submit bills based on your costs for marketing and advertising, we reimburse half the cost. So we reimbursed half the amount that you submit. So if you submitted a bill for $1,000, you had $500 in your account, we would actually pay out the full $500 based on that $1,000 expense. So a great way for IAMS to help you out with your advertising. I know things never get any cheaper out there, so we're glad that we can help you out those ever-ending expenses that come up on the advertising side. We have a great back office support team here at IAMS. We've got a great new business team, a great creative team. We can help you out with quoting if you need to take a look at income quotes, accumulation quotes. We've got a life insurance department that can help you on the life side. We also have a great creative team that can help you out with advertising needs. You need some case assistance on doing some design on some specific clients. We're glad to get you, help on that. We have a great group of marketers in the office on both the annuity and life sides of the business, and really a great combination there based on what we offer through our group. So do keep that in mind based on the things IAMS can help you out with. We've got the Firelight e-app system we utilize on e-applications. A number of our carriers utilize the e-apps with Firelight. I know EquiTrust is one of them. A great way to submit business in a clean fashion. No having to translate handwriting, the forms, everything that's needed that you would need to submit is included with the package. It does not allow you to finally submit the material until everything's been completed. So a great way to keep track of some missing items that you may miss on a 50-page application. This will really help you get through that process much cleaner. These applications go through the system much faster. They're downloaded instantaneously into the home office web, their new business team, and really a great way to submit business. So keep that in mind when you're looking at e-apps. I mean, some of the people do not like using some of the technology, but this is one side of technology you definitely want to take advantage of. And once you get used to utilizing the e-app system, it really makes your life easier moving forward. Got a great creative team here. We've got a great group of people that work on that side of the business. I know we've seen them really help agents out with creating their name out there in the field, keeping everything moving in the right direction. They can help you out with logo designs, maybe redoing your company colors, business cards, brochures. Maybe you want to do some email marketing, social media advertising. They can help you out with all sides of advertising. We've seen a huge increase in social media and the use of social media to get in front of new clients. And they can also help you out with doing website development. Maybe you want to revamp your website. Maybe you're just getting a website set up. They can help you out with some great information, ideas on that side. Really a fantastic opportunity to get your name out there in the field as much as possible. We have a website we have available through IAMS. It's our own personal website. You can get information off there based on questions you may have, supplies you may need, getting on different industry links. Maybe you want to look up an AM Best, an rating on a specific carrier. We have our annuity rate grids on there. You can pull up information on the current annuity rates. A lot of good information that you can take advantage of based on the website itself. And then you can do term quotes, you can do long-term care quoting, you can do income comparisons based on different companies on the income riders. I mean, a lot of really valuable information you can pull off our website. And then we have, you can get contracted right on the website there, going on the paperless contracting tab, get all that completed and be able to utilize that. We also offer a great client software program called the Retirement Analyzer. Really kicks out some great information. And when you work with the clients, they want to take a look at kind of where they stand now for retirement, where they're going to be 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Great opportunity to utilize that Retirement Analyzer software. So Marcus Solar in our office is the Retirement Analyzer Specialist. If you'd like to get some different information on that software program, we do offer that free of cost to our producers. So if you'd like to take full advantage of that, I know we have agents that use this with clients every day. It's one of the main things they present to clients. It really gives them a great picture of where they stand today and moving forward. Definitely worth your time to look into that software program. We also have introduced our wealth management team here in the last couple of years. We've got a great group of individuals that work on that side. I'm going to launch a quick poll here. If you have interest in getting more information on the wealth management side of IAMS, we'll be glad to have one of those specialists give you a call. We've got some great managed accounts, some great platforms that your clients can take advantage of. We see a lot of our top 20 agents are licensed both on the insurance side and the security side. That way you're not seeing any clients slip through the cracks. Hate to refer someone down the road and then they end up leaving you to that other individual down the road. You want to keep as much in your your house as possible. But if you do have interest in taking a look at the wealth management side of IAMS, then we've got a great group of people that can help you with your Series 65 test, getting out the proper information you'll need to get that taken and passed. It's a really it's an area of the market that most of our bigger producing agents take advantage of, and it's good to have clients. You have the safe money along with the other monies, and have them as your client all the way across the board. So definitely keep that in mind. If you've not had a chance to vote yet, definitely throw on there yes or no. I'll leave this open for about another 20 seconds. I'd be glad to get you contacted if need be. If you would like to get contact on the wealth management side, I'd be glad to get that done. I'm going to go ahead and close that up and move forward here. We have our trip we do it once every 18 months now. Qualification started December of 2020. It runs through June of 2022. Yes, we're giving you an additional month to qualify for our Mediterranean cruise. We're going to be cruising around the Italy, so it's going to be a very scenic tour there. You start in Rome, end up in Venice. Have a number of stops along the way. It's going to be a full week cruise, so it's a great chance to get out and see parts of the world you may have not seen before. And also with the pandemic, a lot of people haven't traveled in the last few years. A great way to get back out there and see more of what's out there in the European areas and others. But should be a great trip. Yeah, it takes 4.5 million points to qualify. This being October of 2021, you still have 8 more months to qualify for the trip. We have a number of individuals that are on the way to qualifying. We have a number of people who have already qualified for the trip, so it should be a fantastic time had by all on that end of it. We also do academies. We do a life and annuity academies. We do this about once a quarter. I know we just had one about 2 weeks ago, and it's a great way for you to get in front of other producers. We bring in some really good keynote speakers, go over a lot of sales ideas, software programs, a lot of really good topics we cover during these meetings. If you'd like to be involved in one the beginning of 2022, we'll probably do our first meeting here in probably March, middle of March here in 2022. If that's something you have interest in, check off yes. We'll put you on the list. As soon as we have our dates announced for early next year, you'll be one of the first people to be contacted based on being an interested party. It's a great way to increase your business. I know we always see a nice boost in business from the people that do attend. We typically bring in between 35 and 40 producers from all over the country, and really a really high-end meeting. I know we've got some people that just attended our one 2 weeks ago. They were very impressed with the information that they were receiving at the meeting itself. And we have a lot of different speakers that come in from some different lead corporations. We have some of our top producers come up and give ideas based on what they use in the field to get in front of more clients, close more cases. Some really good valuable information you'll pick up at these meetings. So if that's something you have interest in, mark off yes. We'll put you down for the first quarter of next year. I'll leave this open for about another 20 seconds or so. So if you do have anything you have questions all along the way here, be sure to get those typed in. We'll get those answered as we go through today's program. I know that we've always got things that come up after the meeting itself. I'll be giving everyone a call that attended today's webinar, go over any questions you may have on what we did cover, anything you may have along the way. I'd be glad to get that taken care of for you. I'll go ahead and get this closed up here, this poll, but we're glad to get you involved next year on one of these meetings. I know it's a great way to pick up some valuable sales information, get in front of other agents that are active in that space, and pick up some good ideas from them also. We have our Facebook and LinkedIn sites on both those areas. So if you're active in Facebook or LinkedIn, you can like us, get us a part of your group there. And that way you'll get advertising information via the social media sites. I know we run little campaigns through some of those, so good way to qualify for those down the road there. Go ahead and get that taken care of. But otherwise, we are glad to be joined here today by Mackenzie Swinson. She's, as I mentioned, the internal account manager at EquiTrust, and I'm going to go ahead and give her controls here so she can be going through her presentation. I know that EquiTrust is very excited to get involved in the inherited and stretch IRA side of the business. I know they were in it here a number of years ago and have just gotten back in that platform. So welcome aboard, Mackenzie. Glad you could join us today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Matt. I am glad to be here and excited to finally, again, be talking about inherited and stretch IRA. And today I'm going to cover what's changed and then kind of what solutions we have. So a number of changes came from the laws for inherited and stretch IRAs when the Secure Act went into effect on January 1st of 2020. But that big question, like I said, we've got an answer for. Yes, we will begin, or we have begun, accepting new beneficiary or new money for beneficiaries with that IRA money. One of the big things we're going to cover today is the fact that we do accept stretch and inherited IRA for new sales. We'll talk about the background and what those new rules are, so what's different and what's changed due to the Secure Act, and then those products we have available and any tweaks we made to that application process. So I want to start by talking about the background on inherited and stretch IRAs. So an inherited and stretch IRA is an estate planning strategy for a beneficiary to take advantage of the tax-deferred status of an IRA. So that beneficiary is required to take distributions from that IRA either through RMDs or at the end of the 10-year period of time. And you may be asking, what exactly does that mean? So I will cover that as we go through here. So the term stretch or inherited are used to differentiate between either an eligible beneficiary or an ineligible beneficiary. So you'll see that terminology used throughout our presentation, as well as in the inherited and stretch materials that we have available. So what are the new rules? So there's kind of two categories of beneficiaries. First is the eligible designated beneficiary, what we're calling a stretch IRA. So an eligible designated beneficiary is either a spouse of the deceased IRA owner, someone who is disabled, someone who's chronically ill, or an individual that's not more than 10 years younger than the deceased owner. The second category is the ineligible designated beneficiary. So anyone who does not meet any of the categories above would be deemed an ineligible designated beneficiary. Now there is a third category I do want to mention called a non-designated beneficiary. And that's really more for money that's left, IRA money that's left to a charity or an estate. And that's just a business that EquiTrust does not have a solution for. So for EquiTrust, it's going to be one of these two categories. So the ineligible designated beneficiary is going to be really more of those non-spouse beneficiaries.
It's kind of tough to have a kid that's less than 10 years younger than you are. It's pretty tough for that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Unless they're adopted.
Right. Yes. Very true. So prior to the Secure Act, if the owner of an IRA passed prior to January 1st of 2020, a stretcher IRA was an option that was available for any IRA beneficiary. In most cases, that would have been a non-spouse beneficiary, because spouses generally would do a spousal IRA or a spousal continuation and move that money into their own name. So the beneficiary would be required to take distributions from the IRA at a rate based on the beneficiary's single life expectancy. So that is prior to the Secure Act. That's kind of how the Stretch IRA worked. So after the Secure Act, if the IRA owner passed on or after January 1st of 2020, so that's kind of your key date, eligible beneficiaries can stretch the IRA, so no change with the Secure Act. So they still have that option. A spouse can move the money into their own name just like they could before Secure Act, or they could stretch it and take those RMDs. An ineligible beneficiary, so those non-spouse beneficiaries, someone that's not chronically ill, not disabled, not a spouse, or not more than 10 years younger, that ineligible beneficiary are required to withdraw all the funds or pay taxes on those IRA funds within 10 years from the date of death. So they don't have to do it right away. They don't have to do it along the way, but at some point during that 10 years, they could wait, all the way to the end of the 10th year to pay the taxes. If the original IRA owner passed before January 1st of 2020, that original beneficiary can maintain the stretch status that they had already established. So looking at what products are available with EquiTrust, for those eligible beneficiaries, we have all of our deferred annuity products can be sold. So that'd be anything except for our SPIA. We do allow the income rider on all of those index products as well. And those proceeds are stretched over the beneficiary's lifetime, and RMDs are required using the pre-Secure Act rules and tables. So if you think of that eligible beneficiary, really nothing has changed for what they have available to them. It's really the ineligible beneficiary that had the changes. So products available for an ineligible beneficiary, all EquiTrust products except the SPIA, the confidence income, and market power, just because that product, is a 14-year product in a lot of states. So that one is excluded. We do still allow the income riders for ineligible beneficiaries as well. Again, I want to point out that they must have the value of that contract distributed or taxed by December 31st of the 10th year after the original IRA owner's death. So the client may pay taxes on the EquiTrust contract and convert to a non-qualified contract at the required time. So as it stands today, we are going to offer at the end of that 10th year the ability to convert that contract in its entirety to a non-qualified contract. Now, we are working on a solution. I don't have any dates of when it will be available, but we are in the works of discussions and trying to offer a solution or come up with a solution to where the client could slowly convert that contract to non-qualified over the 10 years, thus spreading out the tax impact, over the 10 years, and being able to do that internally. So again, that's not available today. Today's solution in order to convert is we are offering the ability to convert at the end of that 10th year, convert the contract in its entirety to non-qualified in order to satisfy paying those taxes.
A quick question that came up, Mackenzie.
Yep.
Actually, a couple of questions. So at this point, you're not able to convert that to a Roth IRA?
At this point, you're not, no.
Okay. And then on the the person that's younger, Do you make them take out RMDs, or can they wait until the 10th year with EquiTrust?
Yeah, good question. So that ineligible designated beneficiary, so that's essentially your non-spouse. So it's
Right.
somebody that's not a spouse, they're not disabled, they're not chronically ill, and not more than 10 years younger. So that non-spouse, which is that ineligible designated beneficiary, there's essentially no RMD requirement. It's just they've got to pay taxes on the amount that they inherited by the end of that 10 years. So they could do it year 1, year 2, year 5, year 10, but that has to be paid. Those taxes have to be satisfied by the end of that 10th year. There's no schedule per se.
Right. So if they take out their 10% free withdrawal, let's say in the second year, then they would pay taxes on that withdrawal.
Yep.
And does EquiTrust have any type of internal transfer option available to go into a
Yeah,
non-qualified account?
so that's kind of what we're working on now. As it stands today, we are offering at the end of that 10 years, which, we've got 10 years
Right.
until we hit our first one. But as of today, we are offering the ability to fully convert that contract to a non-qualified. What we're in the process of looking at is a program to allow them to convert over the 10 years, little by little, or, kind of a tenth at a time, in order to allow them to kind of pay taxes as they go, essentially, and break that up
Right.
instead of having to do it all at one chunk.
Okay. And then I had another question come up on the Roth conversion. I don't believe you can convert to a Roth at this time coming out of the inherited IRA status. I mean, I just don't think you
Yeah,
can do that
correct.
at all at this point.
I don't think you can either. That's my understanding. Now, definitely, I'm not a tax advisor by any
Right.
means, so would encourage them to, seek that guidance from them. But that's my understanding.
Right, because that question came up again regarding at the end of during the 10th year. Yeah, I got another person that responded said no, you cannot. So that's what our thoughts
Mm-hmm.
are. Yeah, you're not able to convert
Yep.
an inherited to a Roth. You have to basically convert it to a non-qualified account.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
Okay. We good on questions?
So far,
Okay.
we're moving forward
So,
as far as I know. Yes.
okay. Sounds good. Well, yeah, stop me at any time if any more pop up.
Okay.
So we do have a revised inherited or IRA stretch information form that does list the eligibility criteria. I will get this information over to Matt so he can distribute it out to everyone. We've got some great pieces around the rules, and then also just kind of some case examples that show different beneficiary types and kind of walking through scenarios for those different beneficiary types. So just to kind of visually see how this impacts different beneficiaries. So the election for an inherited IRA or stretch IRA is made based on the date of death and that eligibility criteria for deaths on or after January 1st. That owner determines the eligibility by choosing the appropriate selection on our inherited stretch IRA information form. So it's kind of up to the agent and the beneficiary to kind of check off which criteria they meet. So then as far as the paperwork, paperwork is exactly the same. We've just added in and modified our inherited IRA, stretch IRA information form. So how you title the owner's name will be as follows. So like Jane Doe, beneficiary for Jimmy Doe, deceased, and then their date of death. So very similar titlement that we've always required. And then the annuitant, they'll list just as the actual beneficiary name, regardless if they are considered an eligible or an ineligible beneficiary. And then that tax qualification, you'll just want to make sure and you're marking off inherited and stretch IRA. So again, we've got that inherited stretch IRA information form, part of the app packet you'll want to make sure and sweep in. I talked about pieces we have available. These are the two pieces we have right now that are available. Now we will be developing additional stuff and be sure to distribute that out as we gain more experience with these opportunities. So we've got the rules, the inherited stretch IRA rules, which is really nice, very detailed, goes through all the beneficiary types, when they have to take withdrawals and pay taxes, distributions, how to title accounts, surviving spouse options, and kind of how that looks. So great information.
Yeah, I just launched a quick poll, Mackenzie, on people that have interest in getting more information on the product line that EquiTrust offers. And I'll leave this up for about a minute, minute and a half. I know we've got majority of the people right now are requesting information, which is great. We're glad that we can get that information out to you. And then we'll leave this up for another minute or so. And then, so on the market power bonus in the states where it's a 10-year contract, still not available for sale, correct, on the stretch?
That is correct. Yeah, for those ineligible designated beneficiaries.
Right. Okay. So basically the market 10, market value, market 7, those are the main contracts being sold to on the stretch side.
Yes. Yeah. So we, I want to say we launched this September 27th or 28th. We reintroduced this, and within 2 days we had applications coming in, inherited IRA applications coming in, and then over the weekend we received 7. So it's really just kind of building. I mean, it's only been out for 2.5 weeks, but we're already seeing applications come in for an inherited or stretch IRA.
Right, and make sure that when you're moving money from the deceased individual's contract to the new person's contract, the inherited person, it has to be a direct transfer. It has to go from company A to company B. It cannot flow through the client. It needs to be a direct transfer. Is that kind of what you're seeing, Mackenzie, on that side?
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah, the client cannot touch the money in any way, shape, or form. It definitely needs to go from custodian to custodian.
Right. Because what happens if it does go to the client, it creates a taxation. And unfortunately, there's no way around it. There's no 60-day rule on that. And it has to be a direct transfer. Even with a spouse, it needs to be a direct transfer if you're moving money from company A to company B.
Correct. Yep. That's a great point.
Yeah, so right now, another 10 seconds or so on this question. If you want to get more information on EquiTrust and what they have to offer, mark off yes. We'll go ahead and get that done. Get that out to you here either later today or tomorrow morning, and that way you'll be set moving forward. I just close that up. So your screen is now showing again there, Mackenzie.
Okay. All right, so some key takeaways. Date of death, if it's before or after January 1st, 2020, that's going to determine whether that IRA falls under pre-Secure Act rules or post-Secure Act rules. For deaths on or after January 1st, 2020, stretch IRAs are for eligible beneficiaries, so the spouse, disabled person, chronically ill, or not more than 10 years younger than the deceased. And then the inherited IRAs are for those ineligible beneficiaries, which are the non-spouse. So inherited stretch IRA information details all requirements for eligibility, and it's up to the beneficiary to make that election for the correct selection based on their circumstances. So again, they'll want to make sure they check off the proper eligibility on the inherited and stretch IRA information form. So that's kind of all I have today. I'll get those documents over to Matt. If there's any more questions, I'm happy to take those. Otherwise, thanks, Matt, for inviting me to get in front of your agents today.
You got it. So one other question that's come up. So let's say that the parent had an existing EquiTrust policy and they name their child as the beneficiary. is the agent able to sell them a new EquiTrust policy based on that? So maybe like an internal
So,
transfer type of thing,
so that'd
right?
be like an ineligible designated beneficiary.
Correct.
Yes, 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 I believe so.
Okay.
Um, I, I mean, their suitability would depend on how old that person is.
Right.
And if an annuity solution is appropriate for their age. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, I believe that is an acceptable scenario.
Okay. So EquiTrust is allowing for a person to inherit money from an existing EquiTrust policy. Of course, the agent has to write up a whole new application,
Mm,
suitability, everything has to go through as normal. But from what we understand right now, that EquiTrust is allowing that to happen.
correct.
Okay. Are they paying any compensation on that, McKinsey?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're viewing that as kind of a brand new application, a brand new sale. They're not able to stretch that existing contract, being a
Mm-hmm.
non-spouse beneficiary.
Right.
Um, so yeah,
Okay. Just
no
want to
different than
verify
if
that
the
because
money
that's something
came.
that agents always ask. Want to make
Absolutely.
sure that they can get paid based on that situation. And says, what if deceased company requires account to be moved into a beneficiary name prior to transfer? Will you accept the transfer as a qualifying one? So that came up with another question here. So if the company where the money's coming from requires, the new person's name to be on the contract, the existing contract before the transfer, I'm thinking that would probably work because you're still the ownership would still be spelled out based on how you guys have
So
that.
yeah, so they're saying essentially move it into the inherited or the stretch IRA prior to transferring. Is
I mean,
that
that would only
the way
that,
you're
that would
understanding that
really only
question?
be in yeah, it looks like, but that would only really occur in a spousal situation because otherwise it would have to be in the inherited state before they transferred it.
Yeah,
It had to be
I think it
designated as
would.
an inherited IRA before they transferred it then, if it was a non-spouse.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if they're already set up, if they are at whatever company, if they're
Right,
at North American or wherever,
right.
and the spouse says, you know what, I want to do a stretch IRA here, and they
Hmm.
change the titlement, they move it into a stretch IRA, they begin taking RMDs, and then they decide, you know what, I want to move it to EquiTrust. That's perfectly acceptable as well.
Right, right, right. Yeah, definitely. Well, good. Well, I appreciate your time this afternoon, Mackenzie. I know we like to keep these under 45 minutes if we can. Anybody has any
Absolutely.
questions that come up after our meeting here today, I'll be giving everyone a call. Mackenzie's going to send me those two pieces. I'll go ahead and get those forwarded to everyone that did attend today. Get those in your hands based on that inherited information. And I know that based on what EquiTrust has to offer, they've got a great lineup of really client-friendly products right now. I know that we've seen the market value indexed annuity really shoot up in number of cases being sold based on some of the higher caps, higher uncapped strategies, great participation rates. Is that kind of jumped into your number one spot now, Mackenzie, on business being sold?
Yeah, it really has, and has been for the past several years. Market Power used to be our number one seller, but that shift happened, oh gosh, 3, 4 years ago, I would say, and now
Mm-hmm.
Market Power has definitely been our leading indexed annuity,
Market value,
or market value, excuse me.
right?
Yes.
Now, market seven, I know that goes to a little bit older age. It goes up to age 85. Basically, it's a kind of a mirror image of the market value. It's a 7-year contract versus 10. Is that also
Exactly.
been up there in the top five, top 3 or 4 on sales?
Um,
The market seven.
You know, generally, a lot of the sales into that product are going to be for somebody, you know, that really needs a shorter term product,
Mm-hmm.
still wants that accumulation, or is between the ages of 80 and, you know, 85.
Right.
So market power sales are still strong. Market
Okay.
10 sales are still strong, still strong.
Right.
You know, market 7 is a little bit more nichey, if that's a
Right.
word.
Sure.
Because unless you kind of fall into one of those categories of needing a shorter term, or, you know, maybe in that, you know, higher age range, a lot of times they're going to write the market value.
Right. I know that EquiTrust also has a great history of renewals. I know that you guys try to renew your policies, you know, at the same level they were initially issued at. Don't you guys have a piece on that,
We do. Yeah, we've got
Mackenzie?
a couple pieces on that, and then we publish all of our renewal rates out on our agent website. No login
Mm-hmm.
required. So you can go
Oh,
back
good.
to the first product we ever wrote, and see all of those.
Right. Right. Well, great. That's great information, and I appreciate everyone's interest today. Appreciate your time on today's webinar. I'll be giving everyone a call. Anything you want to wrap up with this afternoon, Mackenzie?
Just thank you. Call us with any questions. Call Matt, or we've got our sales desk. They're well versed in this. So any questions, any confusion points, any application questions, you know, we're here to help.
Great, great. Well, thanks a lot, Mackenzie. It's always a pleasure having you on board for these webinars. I know you do a fantastic job, and I know that EquiTrust has really been moving forward with a lot of these new programs you're taking on, and we look forward to having a great end of the year here with business, and look forward to a prosperous 2022. So everyone have a great week. Enjoy the fall holidays coming up, and hopefully your weather is as nice as ours is today here in the mid 70s in Omaha. So everyone have a great week, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Bye now.